today's short and sweet practice, you'll need a book or a yoga block to hand, maybe a blanket for your knees, and then we're going to start today lying down with knees bent. So you can have a blanket for under your head if that's more comfortable. And then we're just going to start with the feeling of the whole of the back body in contact with the floor. So you can move your pelvis a bit to feel that, feeling for that natural little arch away from the floor in your lower back. Feeling which parts of the backs of your ribs touch the floor, your shoulders, the back of your head. And just feeling a few rounds of your own breath rhythm, how it is today. And connecting that movement of your breath with the whole of your back body, feeling that contact with the mat. And perhaps it slightly changes as you inhale and as you exhale. So just noticing your breath rhythm and the contact of your back with the mat. So we start to settle into the felt sensation of the body. We settle into the space we're in and how our body contacts the environment. And then from now, first movement today is going to be to reach the arms up towards the ceiling and keep your hands as wide as your shoulders. That's generally a slightly more neutral, comfortable position. And then we'll just start by lifting one arm up a little bit higher towards the ceiling, reaching your fingers up and feeling how that pulls your shoulder blade off the mat. So that movement of your arm is actually starting from your spine, from the middle of your back. And then let that shoulder blade ground back down onto the mat and do the same with the other arm. And we're just going to alternate between the arms, reaching and lifting up, grounding back down. So we're feeling that teamwork and connection of the shoulder blade and the arm. So the shoulder blade can slide around on your back, and the arm, we're kind of keeping it moving with the joint. Okay, and then we're going to keep both arms even, reach both arms up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades off the mat, and then start to reach the arms dead straight over the head. So when your elbows need to bend, you've hit your max. Keeping the arms dead straight, pulling the shoulder blades up with you. See when you notice your tummy muscles need to support you. You'll start to feel some toning in the tummy. Noticing that, when your arms have gone as far over as they can go, start to take them wide. So you're reaching them all the way out to the sides and then down so that your fingers brush your legs, and then reaching your arms back up where we started, fingertips to ceiling. Okay, I'm going to do that a few more times. A couple of points are keep your hands at least as wide as your shoulders as they go up. And secondly, this time we're going to focus more on keeping the trunk pressing down into the mat. So if the spine isn't joining in, that's going to drive more movement into our shoulders and ask our core stability muscles to work more, which is all good stuff. So pressing your trunk down towards the mat, the spine presses down. You could add the inhale as you reach your arms up and over. Notice when you start to feel tummy muscles. See how far up your arms are happy to go dead straight, and then start to widen the mat to the side. And if you need to make this a smaller movement, please do. So we're not going to, real discomfort in the shoulder. We might feel some unfamiliar territory, but that's okay. Hands brush the legs, reaching up again. Slow, smooth circles with the arms. You could inhale the arms up and start to exhale as they go wide. So you're finding your own range of motion in your shoulder joints for today. And it doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable throughout the circle. You don't want to go to any sharp discomfort, but just noticing where it feels really kind of easy and smooth and where there's a little bit more work. Okay, let's just try a few in the opposite direction. And watch out for speeding up. When we go slowly, we can feel more, and we also ask the muscles to work a little bit harder. So slower is generally a lot more fruitful. Last one like that. And then let your arms rest again on the floor. Take a breath there. From there, I'm going to roll over and come up to a tall kneel position. So today we're really focusing on shoulders, external rotation in the shoulder joint, and just seeing what we can discover there. So have your book or your block handy. To start with, we're just going to have our arms down by the sides and feeling for the trunk like a solid tree trunk. So the spine and the trunk don't join in this movement. We're going to isolate the shoulder blades, those real key drivers to our upper body movement. Elbows stay completely straight. You can make fists or have really just squeezed together straight fingers. And then from here, we're going to roll the shoulders forward. Squeeze the shoulders to the ears. Pull the shoulders back without the head joining in or the spine. And then can we find a real downward pull of the shoulder blades on the back? And again, maintaining that straight position with the trunk. And just doing a couple more like that. And see if you can both feel and visualize the trunk is rock solid. And what we're doing is sliding our shoulder blades around on this kind of curved surface of the rib cage, and they roll forward, they can move up, they squeeze together, and they slide down. And as you do that, just see what other feelings you notice. So I'm noticing when I pull my shoulder blades down, I can feel all those muscles on the top of my shoulder having a stretch out, those muscles that tend to tense. And then let's just do a couple in the opposite direction, because it can feel a bit different. Sometimes it can just feel a bit trickier to find. Doing the best you can to keep your chin and head drawing back a little and the trunk solid. And then relax for a moment. So you may have noticed the bonus of some core engagement there as well. Okay, second version is with our brick or a book. And it's doing the same movement but with the arms forward. And that adds just an extra bit of challenge. You're working all the muscles of your arms as well. And because we've got something to hold on to, we can kind of push a bit more movement out of the shoulder blades. So let's see how that goes. So holding onto your book, elbows trying to stay dead straight, head staying a little bit back, and we've got that tree trunk strength. Forward, squeezing up, pulling back, pulling down. We're going to do 3 more like that. You may find 2 was intense enough. As always, really feeling for what's enough for you for today. Otherwise, we've got 1 more like this. And if you're taking a breather, join in now because we're going in the opposite direction. So have a couple in the opposite direction. You just want to get to the point where you feel intensity. Watch out for speeding up. Notice where you're feeling things. And then release. Okay, well done. That was the intense part. And from here, stepping your right leg forward into the lunge. So right hand can be on your right leg, reaching your left arm forward. And this is where all that shoulder blade work comes in useful, because you can really start to feel and notice how your shoulder blade joins in movements, and you have that awareness and control there. So from here, pulling your arm forward, reaching your thumb up towards the ceiling, any amount, shoulder blades going with you. So you're finding your own range, how high up your arm can go, and then let your body turn to the side as you reach your arm behind you, feeling that maybe across the chest, and as your shoulder blade and arm drop down, letting them come forward again. Reaching your arm up, shoulder blade up, rotating a little to the side. You can keep that right knee slightly pushing back over the ankle, and then the arm drops down. So you could add the breath rhythm of inhaling up, seeing where it feels comfortable, where there needs to be a little bit more practice and engagement. So you're noticing, paying attention to where your arm circle feels. Oh yeah, that's really comfortable. No, I don't go here very often. I could do with visiting this range a little bit more. Last one, full arm circle there. Okay, and then from there we're going to bring the fingertips to the floor, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up as an option and just rocking through your legs. You can rock through the legs with the back knee down as well if you prefer that option. And just seeing what you notice, what sensations you notice as you move forwards and backwards. You'll feel different muscles lengthening, different muscles contracting. And what you're aiming to do is just really start to feel something. So whether the knee's down or up, and especially if you're choosing the knee up version, where can you find a little bit of intensity? So you could even lift your toes up as you rock back, bending your back knee. You could even lift your back toes as you rock forward. Starting to feel some different engagement. And then from there, just choosing either back knee down, bringing your body up again, or keeping your back knee up. Either way, we're going to bring the body upright. So you might be knee down, you might be knee up, reaching your arms out to the side, turn both palms to face the ceiling. And then from there, as you inhale, finding that length along your sides, reaching your arms and your shoulder blades up. As you exhale, taking the arms wide, broad across your chest, let the arms come back down. Inhaling up again, lengthening from your waist up. Exhaling, arms down, shoulder blades down, widening across your chest. I'm going to do a couple more like that, inhaling up. So using the breath to really fill your whole trunk with a sense of spaciousness. Letting the arms flow, giving you this sense of fluidity. One more. And then making your way back to hands to waist, knee down if your knee was up. Stepping that leg back, and we'll swap sides. So left leg forward, left hand on the left thigh, reaching your right arm forward. Find that pull forward with your shoulder blade. Start to inhale your arm up. See what your range is to make an arc, taking your arm behind you, letting it lower all the way down, and then the thumb leads again, shoulder blade joins in to reach up. Exhaling the arm back and down. So you're really feeling how your arm can move through this arc and tuning into what feels comfortable, familiar, easeful, and where there's perhaps a little bit more stretch, there's a bit more discomfort, and there's your growth area. There's where you know you can keep practicing to widen your range. Let's do a couple more. Just noticing that little bit of rotation we're adding in as well. And then hands back down to the mat. And just finding any amount of forward and backward movement, which will give you some different sensations. Maybe a stretch through your back thigh. Maybe a stretch in the front hamstring. You could experiment with lifting toes up. You could experiment with lifting the back knee up. You can go up and down with the back knee. You could rock lifting the back foot up and down. So just finding different movements that help you to feel lots of different things in your legs. What do you notice? And if you like, you can build to a little bit of intensity of feeling, usually a muscle contraction or stretch. And then from there, just choosing whether you're going to do knee down or knee up for the next movement, and bring your body upright. And then from there, the palms are going to turn outwards. As you inhale, finding that length along your sides, widening into your side ribs. As you exhale, arms wide, finding that space in your chest. A few times, inhaling up. And you can still be aware of your shoulder blades reaching up with you, pulling back down as your arms lower. So finding that rhythm with the movement, and noticing how you can just find quite a lovely, slow, steady rhythm of your breath with your movement in this kind of flying arms position. Let's do a couple more. Last one, and then wherever you are, lowering your back knee, and we'll come back to the tall kneel. Okay, from here we're going to come into a tabletop position. hands and knees on the mat. And we're going to swivel the arms from the wrist to the shoulder. So if you're looking at the elbow crease, you'll watch it turning more elbow creases facing each other and then more elbow creases facing forwards towards your fingertips. And we all have a different range of that, so just noticing. But what we are doing is swiveling from the wrist and from that ball and socket in the shoulder. And our focus is the shoulder. We're noticing that when the elbow creases roll more forward, that's taking the shoulder joint, the ball and socket, into external rotation. And that's a really good feeling to be aware of, to know what external rotation feels like in your shoulder. At the same time, the shoulders are pulling down away from the ears, and you're feeling that rolling outwards that engages some muscles on the outside of your shoulders. Okay, you can play around with the hand position on this next one, but what we're going to do is find external rotation, elbow creases forward, feel like you're squeezing your elbows towards each other and start to bend them down towards the mat, and then pushing through your hands, re-straighten your arms. So the whole time, your elbow creases are forward, external rotation, shoulders are pulling down. And you just see how much you can bend the elbows and lower to the mat. The other key thing we're trying not to do is let the hips move back, so the hips are staying over the knees, and then you're seeing how far down you can lower your elbows. It might just be a little, it might be halfway down to the mat, and then back up again. It might be elbows all the way down to the mat, and then pushing back up again. Trying to keep the hips forward so that the shoulders do a lot more of the work. And see how slow and smooth you can make your movement, whatever range you felt was possible for today. As you re-straighten your arms, check that you're rolling those elbow creases forward. You should feel a little bit of tension in the very outside of your armpit there. And we're just slowly lowering, slowly pushing back up. You can experiment with hands further forward. You could be taking a breather by now. I'm just going to do a few more. Can you feel your triceps in the back of your upper arms? And the more you keep your hips forward, the more you'll notice your triceps have to do some work in this movement. Are you still going? We're going to do two more. It takes a few till you really start to feel it. Last one, keep your elbows down on the mat this time. Okay, so from there we're going to turn the palms up to the ceiling. That will help us to kind of maintain that external rotation in the shoulders. See if you can touch your thumbs down to the mat. And then we're just going to move the hips back this time. And see how that feels on the shoulders. And then move forward. See how that feels on the shoulders. Come back to center. We're going to interlace the hands this time. And then push down through your elbows and see if you can feel your shoulder blades slide to the side of your back. We've done dips lots of times. You could try squeezing your shoulder blades together to feel the difference, and then push the shoulder blades apart again. So we want the shoulder blades pushed apart position, but it can be good to kind of go forwards and backwards a few times, squeeze in a few of those. Shoulders stay down away from ears. And can you control that sliding together of your shoulder blades on the back? And can you push down through your elbows, feel your shoulder blades widen to the side? So a few of those in there, and then we're going to go back to the forwards and backwards movement. So push down through your elbows, shoulder blades are protracted to the sides of your back, and then keeping that, move back. See how far back you can go, and then slowly keeping your shoulder blades to the sides, pushing through your elbows, go forwards. You might find your chin over your knuckles, that might feel a bit far. So what range can you find pulling back and pulling forward? Going slowly. And you might notice when you pull back a feeling of stretch, and you might notice as you go forward a little bit more weight bearing on your shoulder joints. So just finding the range that feels like enough for today. Tuning into the different feelings as you pull back and as you pull forward. And then if that weight bearing as you go forward feels absolutely fine and perhaps not much happening, see how it feels to re-push the elbows down into the mat, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up. So it's kind of a down dog position in your legs. And then repeat the slow, smooth movement. Maybe ears lining up with arms, but with your knees up in a down dog position. Now this is a lot more load on your shoulders, so it's not one to rush into. If you could feel some good weight bearing with the knees down, you might like to just carry on with that, and we're doing enough repetitions that those shoulder muscles are really firing up and feeling things. So either of those. You want to take another option with the knees up, you can always take one leg up, that adds even more weight bearing. If you can keep it slow and smooth and both shoulders seem even and happy, that's another option. So we'll do 2 more wherever you are. Are you still slow and smooth? Tuning into what's happening in the shoulder. And then we're probably ready for a rest. So drawing back towards child's pose, perhaps stacking your fists to rest your forehead or any other rest position. Taking slow, smooth breaths right around your ribs. Just feeling that sense of slowing down of the inhale, slowing down of the exhale. That release of the intensity of the previous movement. And then whatever rest position you found, just coming into child's pose with your hands at the side. If your hips are a bit higher up, that's fine too. And then from there, we're just going to slide one hand to the opposite side of the mat and start to lower the trunk towards the mat. So we're reaching all along one side of the body. And just finding that line from the hip to the hand, just breathing along the side, feeling length and stretch. It might be hips all the way down, see how that feels. Coming back to hand to the knee, and we'll go to the other side, reaching forward. So your hips can lift up as much as they need. And we're just slowing down the breath now. Breathing into the sensation of stretch along the side. And perhaps softening around your eyes and your jaw and your throat. And let's do one more to each side. And from there, let's shift to a seated position of your choice. So you could be sitting on a chair, you could find some blocks or blankets to sit on. And suggestion of is letting one hand rest somewhere around your lower trunk, one hand on your chest. And if you like to, you can close your eyes and tune into a slow, fairly kind of fuller than normal breath rhythm. No strain or not too much effort, but you can just feel there's a little bit more widening through your ribs as you inhale. And there's a longer out breath to let that air out. So taking a moment to feel into your own sense of energy flow through your body. Awareness of your breath as you inhale, vitality coming into your body. And as you exhale, just relaxing and honing in on that body awareness. So we tune into all that is well. We're feeling our own vitality and this rhythm of the breath that has guided us through our movement today. So turning towards what's well, what we feel as our own vibrancy and well-being. And you could even perhaps extend that into your life, just appreciating all that's well today. It might be just very simple things, the time you found to do this practice today, the nourishment you've had through your food, Just very simple things of what feels well. And then we could offer that well-being further out, so just aware of the people you've been in contact with in the last few days, either in your household or even further, and offering those people your well wishes. May they feel well. And as you do that, you could notice how that actually feels in your body and in your breath. So we extend feelings of well-being, vitality and health. You could offer those to all the other people in your yoga community who are doing this video as well. May you be well, may you feel full of vitality and well-being. And letting the breath find its really gentle rhythm. And a lovely long slow exhale. So from there you might like to turn the video off, put your timer on and just lie down for a few minutes of rest if you have time. Otherwise, may you be well, may you have a lovely rest of your day, and may you feel the energy and vitality from this practice through the rest of your day. Thank you.